Ryan here with Dark Rangers Inc. And today we embark on a new journey in an open platform where we're now going to be able to run any piece of equipment we want using N.i.n.a instead of what we were using with the ASI Air Plus. Now today I'm going to go through how to install not only the software but all the drivers onto some sort of mini PC. We're going to use the Eagle 5S today. I really like this because it not only combines the computer but also all of the power and communication you need and the Wi-Fi, of course, into one box. And this thing is a tank. You can even use it to mount a whole other scope on top of it or other accessories. And then we have a full new build with the QHY 600M. We've got Prima Luce focuser and the flat panel with the motor behind me, and then the 174M by QHY, as well as their filter wheel and off-X guider. So it's truly going to be a full conversion and one you're not going to want to miss. When I reached out to my Patreon folks and asked, do you want this in one long video or maybe a multi-part series, everybody unanimously agreed that they'd like it broken down into parts that we can put into a playlist. That way, if things change, I can always just swap out one part as updates come along. But today in part one, what I'm going to do is show you how to connect to your remote desktop and then install N.i.n.a and all of the other programs and drivers that you'll need to get up and running, as well as actually connect the hardware to it. And then in part two, we'll actually add it to our telescope and bring it outside and show you how to get some images with it. So I'm really excited to take you guys on this journey with me. It's my first time using N.i.n.a, but I've actually gotten everything on here successfully and it's communicating. So I've gone through the process and now I'm going to take you guys with me from start to finish. All right, well, I just shot the thumbnail for this video and I'm sure you guys have been in this situation where the initial excitement wears off. You've been waiting for a week for everything to come, all the anticipation of picking it out, ordering it, and then it gets here, you open it up, it's like Christmas morning, and then you get that sinking feeling where it's like, oh my God, now what? I have to make all of this work, talk to each other, and some of that initial excitement kind of wears away as a little bit of fear starts to sink in. Well, fear not, because that's the point of this video. Hopefully you've just gotten either your Eagle 5 or another type of mini PC, and you're looking to add N.i.n.a and some devices. We're gonna go step by step through that process with you guys. So I've got my Mac here, we've got the remote desktop software installed, which will be the same for a PC, and then we're gonna go ahead and connect to this thing, get it powered up with some of the power cords, and then just get everything talking to each other in here first. And I know it's the motto of this channel that nobody cares about unboxing, and so I'm gonna do at least a 10-second time lapse for you guys so you can at least, if you do enjoy that thing, sharing a little bit of this unpacking bliss that's about to take place before the real work starts to set in. For your convenience, I went ahead and made a little bit of a checklist so you can go ahead and screenshot, but what we're gonna do is do the remote connection. We're gonna get N.i.n.a downloaded, ASTAP with the D50 star database, get our PHD2 for guiding, get the All Sky Atlas installed and linked, and then go through the drivers for Prima Luce and QHY for me, and then obviously it'd be the same process for anything that you do. I probably will show you guys how to do a ZWO driver as well, just so that you guys understand how to do that, and then we'll just get everything communicating and actually talking to the computer itself and make sure it works before we go outside. Now, you don't have to do this. You can actually just install everything and then go outside and put it all together and test it there if you don't want to wire it all up twice. I'm going to go ahead and plug it all in and get it powered inside first just to test, and then that way when I take it outside, I know I'm not going to struggle, at least to get everything communicating to each other and set up. All right, so let's jump into the first part, which is basically just going to be download. So we're going to download all of the programs that we need. We're going to download all the drivers. I'll take you through a couple of them, but I'll just basically list what you need. That way, you know, you guys will kind of get the hang of it. Essentially, you're just going to Google whatever thing that you're trying to do. I'll have my list up for you guys. And then you just go ahead and download, install everything, and get it on your system. But the first thing that you have to do is connect to remote desktop so that you can communicate with your Eagle or remote PC. So I have the power plugged in. I went ahead and turned it on. I have the green light, and then I have my two Wi-Fi antennas plugged in. And then I want to go in and check right away to make sure that it is connected via Wi-Fi. So I'm going to go into settings and then go to Wi-Fi, and I can already see that the Eagle is in fact connected. So I'm good to go there. Then you're going to go to the App Store and then just search for Remote Desktop. It's this one with the opposing orange arrows. I'm going to just go ahead and open it since I've already done that. What you'll do is you'll click this plus button, which is just going to add a PC. Now, if you go to Primaluce's website, they actually have a great explanation of how to set up each device. So what I did is I just Googled Eagle 5S owner's manual. They have it for iPhone or iPad. They have it for PC, and then they have it for Mac. So a lot of it is very much the same because Remote Desktop is a Microsoft program. So once you get the Remote Desktop app installed, it's basically the same no matter what platform you're on. And it has a unique IRL that's the same for all of them. It's 192.168.137.1. And then you're going to go ahead and click on Add User Account. And then under the username, you want to type in Primaluce Lab exactly as it is here with the 2 capital L's. And then under password, you'll have gotten a password with your Eagle. I'm covering it with my thumb, but it's a 4-digit password, and you just go ahead and input it there. And then I turned admin mode on. I left mouse buttons the same, and I just go ahead and save that. And then when you do, you will open up the connection, and what it'll look like for you on your first time signing in, it will look just like this if you're using the Eagle. And so this is the area that gives you all of the information on what you have plugged in. You can customize all of these ports. So if you know you have, for example, your camera is in here, you can go ahead and customize this any way you want. You've got longitude and latitude. And then what's nice here is because you have the latitude and you have the inclinometer, I can go ahead and just tilt this. And if I'm trying to get set up before dark, for example, I can just match, I'm at 42.2, I can basically just try to match that with the inclinometer on my mount. You can see the motion detectors going crazy and then how much power I'm using. So all of that kind of cool information. What we do from here is make sure that we connect the computer itself to Wi-Fi. So you're going to go into settings, and then just like you would any computer, go to network and internet, and then go ahead and turn on Wi-Fi and find your Wi-Fi network for your home. And then once you're connected to the internet, it's really just a matter of going in and downloading all of those programs. And you can really just Google it. So you can see I have N.i.n.a for astrophotography. You go into here, and then I'm going to go to downloads. I just downloaded the latest version. I didn't want to mess with the beta, just the latest full version. Download that. And then you'll also need to download the Sky Atlas image repository. It's 1 gigabyte. So download both of those. And then you're also going to go to ASTAP right here. Download this D50 star database. That's what I'm using. You can try to use the D20 or the D05, the smaller one, or the really massive one. The D50 seems to be the nice sweet spot. You also just want to Google PhD2, and that'll get you PhD2 guiding. So you can just click right to the download if you want. And then obviously, you can download, for me with the Eagle, the Windows version. The next thing that we want to do is go to ASCOM standards for astronomy, go to downloads, and then download right here on the right hand side. So I've already went ahead and downloaded all of them. Once you download it, you basically just click through, click, and next, finish. And then you'll have all the programs installed, and most of them do automatically just put something on your desktop so you can access them. So if you click this button again, you go away from this screen, which gives you all of the data on your Eagle, and you go basically to a normal Windows type desktop. You can change the color, do whatever you want. Once you install all those programs, you can see I have N.i.n.a, I have ASTAP, I've got ASCOM, and from here, what we're gonna do is then go on a driver hunt and try to find all of our drivers. So I'll go back into Google Chrome, and then whatever devices that you own, essentially that's what you're going to want to look for. So like QHY drivers is what I searched for. And then as you can see, boom, it comes up right here. I will go through and show you what I did for QHY specifically. They have kind of an all-in-one version, and that's what I did. And it basically had everything that I needed for my filter wheel, my camera, and my guide camera. Everything was included in that bundle. So you can go to the last stable version, which is this one right here, or this all-in-one pack up here. That's what I did. I just downloaded the all-in-one, and then it'll give you the list of everything that it's capable of supporting. And so I'm just going to click system drive stable version would be what you'd want to do, and then just keep searching for your different pieces of equipment from there. So I could go to Prima Luce Lab drivers, and they have it under software downloads, and then here they all are. So you would just go through like specific focuser that I have. I would download this, and you're basically just going to go through and find every piece of gear. You'd be surprised how actually easy it is, and then it's literally just a matter of clicking through all of the installations. Once you get done with that phase, then we can actually open up N.i.n.a and start to get everything installed. But the first thing that you want to do is obviously download the major programs, which is N.i.n.a, PHD2, ASCOM, and ASTAP. ASTAP, you need the star database, and then the star atlas in N.i.n.a as well. And then download the driver for every piece of equipment that you have. I have the Sesto Senso, and then I have the Alto motor, and as well as the Eco. So I can go ahead and download that. I've got the little Eco here for the weather. So I can show you really quick what it looks like to go through one of those driver installs. Essentially what you'll see this PLL ASCOM Focuser V3.4. The .exe is what you're going to want. I'm going to run that. More info, run anyway. And then it's literally just clicking through. I accept, next, install, okay, and then it's downloading it, and you're just going to do this over and over and over again for all of your different things. Since I haven't installed the actual driver for this yet, I just noticed that one when I was looking through there. I'll go ahead and download that real quick. Here's the Eco. So we've got that PL ASCOM observing conditions. I'll expand it, .exe. Again, you always want that exe file if they have it. Extract all. And then more info, run anyway. So it looks like there's some kind of protection that's trying to prevent it. I'm going to click yes, and then same exact thing. And all the drivers are going to be fairly similar. They're all going to be kind of just like this, and again, it's just a matter of kind of clicking through it and then finish. And there you go. So go ahead and do that with all of your different products, and then we will kind of meet back up here for the second session where we actually go into N.i.n.a. All right, now that you're done with all the driver installs, go ahead and double click on N.i.n.a here. Should have a desktop icon for you. And then we're going to go through and go into equipment. Now, of course, the first thing that you're going to need to do is actually connect it not only to power, but via some sort of USB port to your device. So I'll show you what that looks like really quick. All right, now that all your drivers and the programs are installed, hopefully with no issue, I'm going to go ahead and add a power supply here, and this is going to be so that I can run the electronic autofocus. This is the 3 amp power cord, and it's going into either slot 1 or 2, and then the slot 3 and 4 are for the 8 amp, and that's actually what I ended up using for the camera, the main camera with the cooling, just to give it a little extra help if needed. And then I'm going to go ahead and plug that into the 12 volt. And then I have a USB-C connection that goes to a USB-A that's going to now go into the Eagle. Okay, so now it's connected in terms of USB and to power. And so then what I would do is click on equipment here, and we would go to Focuser. Now, you should see some of these in here because you've done the install. So I will go ahead and click on the ASCOM focuser. You can also click on this little gadget here, the little gear icon, to see and set up the different ports. I'm just going to select COM1 and then just hit this the power icon right here to actually go ahead and connect. So it gave me a driver error. That's totally fine. So let's try COM7 and do it that way. Yeah, it's telling me that it can't use COM1, so that's fine. You just want to troubleshoot and find the one that actually works. So now I have this in place and I've got my focuser set up, and I'm just going to go through one by one and connect each device. So that's what we'll do next. So next up we have the QHY600M. The first thing I want to do is I'm actually going to use an 8 amp port for this one. All right, now that we have it plugged in not only from a power supply, but from a USB source as well. Remember, most of these items will need both. Some might be able to be powered just by the USB port, but in this case, if it has a power in, you probably want to use it. So we've gone ahead and plugged that in, and I chose one of the USB 3.0 ports so that it's faster for data connection. This is the full frame sensor, so the files are about 100 megabytes a piece. So having the faster connection is obviously ideal. So once you plug this in, if you don't hear the fan immediately turn on, what you want to do is go back to your screen here, kind of the base home screen, and make sure your power outlets are turned on. So I have this one in 4. You want to make sure that's 4 is turned on. I don't know if you can hear that. I'll put it by the mic, but if I turn the power off, obviously the fan turns off because there's no power, and then I can click it back on. What I can also do then is go ahead and rename that to QHY600, and now I know that that port is for the QHY600, and it shows me how much power it's drawing right now, 0.8 amps. So I can go back into N.i.n.a. So when you go to find the driver, it'll say no camera, the drop down, and now we see the 600M shows up. And now I didn't install a specific 600M driver. I did the all-in-one package, but then as soon as I connected it, now the 600M shows up. If I were to unplug that, the 600M would no longer show there. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to go ahead and hit power, even though we can tell it's receiving power because the fan is on. And then boom, there we go. We got the success, camera connected. You can see we've got our gain setting, our offset, USB limit. We've got cooling going right now, and you can see the sensor temperature readout here at the bottom. So I can adjust that. If I want to drop the temperature down or bring it up, I can do all that right here. Right now we're at 6 Celsius, which is quite a bit cooler than it is in this room. So it's cooling itself down nice and gradually. And so now we have the sensor powered on and the camera, and you can see this little power icon next to it to let us know that we are set up. The next thing we'll do is we can go to the guider and then do the same thing, and we're just like the drivers, it's just everything is kind of on repeat. The nice thing about the guide camera is that it doesn't also have power, so I can just plug in the USB 3.0, and then I'm going to put that in the other USB 3.0 spot. And so now this has power. So I'm going to go in the guider, hit the drop down. Notice that there isn't a drop down for equipment. What we're going to do is connect PHD2. That's what we downloaded earlier as our guiding software. It's the same thing that's in the ASIAIR essentially. And I'm going to go ahead and power that on and see if it will automatically connect to the 174. If it doesn't, there is a way to connect, and I'll show you that. Okay, it looks like it did, but let me show you if yours didn't connect, what you can do. So this is the PHD2. As you can see, it's already looping. I'm going to go ahead and stop that for now because we don't need to do that. So obviously it's not picking up anything because the cap is on. What you could do if it doesn't pick it up is this little connect equipment right here down on the bottom left. And then again, same thing, it's whiting out the option because it is connected, but if I disconnect that, I can go in here and choose any of the drivers, just like you can with any of the other sections. So we'll go back to QHY camera, and we will connect it as if it didn't automatically connect, and then we can go ahead and close that out. And then let's just go ahead and start looping again to make sure, and there we go. We can open that up, and Obviously it gets white. So that's really, how you can kind of control some of that. Now here, I disconnected it. You can control the camera stuff in here, so you don't have to do all of the camera work in PHD2 guiding. You can still mostly use the N.i.n.a app, but it's just connecting the camera physically to PHD2, and then you can come in here and set the dither, timeout, all of that stuff. You can do it right in here and make it nice and simple. All right, and then we'll go ahead and connect the flat panel, because I know a lot of videos don't show that because a lot of people aren't running them as of now. And first I want to show how it's wired. So the motor kind of acts as the hub, and so I have a power in and a USB-C that goes into USB-A into the Eagle, and then a USB 2.0 out that goes to the panel itself, and then a power out that goes to the panel. So the only thing that's connecting to the actual device and the Eagle is in the motor. You're not connecting anything from the light to the Eagle itself. It goes into here, and then the motor will actually power the light and communicate to the light the same way that the camera does with the filter wheel. So that kind of makes life easy. And so what we'll do is we'll go down to flat panel, and then same thing, we'll scan for device. And it's again going with the calibrator 2, and we'll see if it powers up right away. Okay, and it looks like it is. Again, if you did have an issue, you can always check this settings button here and make sure that you have the right port. We're in COM9, which is the correct one. And then you can change the brightness. What's cool about this is with my lights that I usually use like camera LED panels, which are really nice high quality LEDs, but they're so bright. Like if I put this on 10% out of 100 and set it, you'll see it doesn't even look like it's on. It's so dim. So it allows you to shoot longer flats if you need to. Now if I go to 100, obviously at that point then we will see it get bright. But it's really nice that it is so sensitive that you can literally set it to any amount that you want, and then that's at 50. Again, it's very dark. And obviously there's something called Flat Wizard that we see over here, and we'll worry about that a little bit later. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and put that back to 0 so it's not running any power. All right, and next I'm going to go down to weather, because we've got this little guy. So we do actually have the Eco, which lets us know kind of, it's like a little bit of a mini weather station. And so what we'll do is we'll just power that on with the little USB-C to USB-A. So I'll grab that and we'll hit the scan tool again, and we can see no weather data. So let's go ahead and try to connect the PLL ASCOM Observatory. And now we have that connected, and so we've got our kind of weather observation as well via this. It does come with a couple sensors, and you have a few different plugs. You can also use this to control your dew straps as well. So it's a handy little device, definitely something that is a nice to have, not a must have. But it is nice to have really accurate weather conditions and to have a really nice dew controller that's meant to work with the Eagle. All right, and once we have the weather installed, I'll go to switch, and then we'll talk about our final one, which is telescope, that we're going to actually save for the next video. So here we have, again, the PLL ASCOM, and I'm going to just turn that on. And as you can see, I basically have the ability to turn on and off all the switches. On the Eagle, you can also do that right here. One thing I do want to mention, if you are powering stuff off of the Eagle, just make sure you have that all turned on. You can see if I do this, you'll hear the QHY get quiet and then turn it back on. So you can control that both within N.i.n.a, which is really nice in the switches area, and then you can also control it via the Play app. And then finally, the telescope. Obviously, a telescope is just glass and mirrors and lenses, so we don't have any electronics. So what it really means is the mount. And so what we'll do is we'll save that one. That'll be the one that we kind of connect on the fly in the second part, as we really show how to get all of this on the telescope and actually imaging with it. All right, now that we downloaded all the software and drivers and test fit everything, the only thing we have to connect still to is the mount. So we're downstairs. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then part 2, we're gonna actually image with this tonight, and I'm gonna go through that with you, but we'll go ahead and wrap part 1. The final thing that I did was download the 3-point polar alignment in the plugin section. You just go under available, it's in alphabetical order. You just choose it and then go ahead and download it. You do a quick restart and it's ready to go. So that way it'll take 3 photos, plate solve from all 3 different locations, and then you can do a real-time polar alignment. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and take the big SCA 260 off, put our 90mm with the nice full frame camera and OAG setup. We've got some SHO filters and we've got it reduced to 432mm at f4.8. So with this big sensor, it should be a huge field of view and a relatively fast setup. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. It's 2 days after the new moon, so still great conditions, and we're supposed to be clear all night. So wish me luck, guys, and if you're following along, this part 2 will come out in probably 6 or 7 days from when you're seeing this, so have no fear. I will keep you guys along the journey with me. And then part 3, I'll just go over, kind of my overall thoughts, findings, learning lessons, as well as some of the additional plugins that I didn't go over here that I'm gonna test and try out over the next couple weeks so that I can recommend the best options for you guys. These are all things that are kind of nice to have. You don't necessarily need to have them. The one thing I did want to add was the polar alignment, but I think other than that, we're just going to run N.i.n.a and PHD2. I did go ahead and download some sequence templates from Patriot Astro, so if you want to get ahead of the game, I downloaded his whole folder, and I'm going to probably make some modifications for myself, and then I may release that in the 2nd or 3rd episode. So guys, stay tuned. It's really exciting. I can't wait to try out all this gear. It's so much cool stuff in one night, and hopefully that you are going to feel a little bit better about making the jump to N.i.n.a yourself. So until the next one, guys, as always, clear skies.